Through a little bit of politics, we managed to sanction the war against the Veneti, extending our realm northwards till the foothills of the Alps, giving us a natural defensive feature. Being the victor of 3 wars has taught me that peace is only the time given to prepare for the next war. Our true enemy lies in the south. Carthage, having conquered the resource-rich Hispania, has successfully rebuilt its fleet and armies, and there can be no doubt of their intentions. So I sent Legio II Fretensis from Apollonia to garrison the settlement of Agrigentum in Sicily. Yes, that's right, Agrigentum, not Acrogas. Roman settlements need Roman names. And speaking of Roman names, we even took the liberty of renaming all of the other settlements we have acquired through Roman blood and Roman steel. However, just as expected of the Carthaginians come, they launched an offensive towards Agrigentum in the autumn of 267 BC. While Legio II Fretensis was severely outnumbered 2-1 and completely surrounded by both land and sea, their experience in the past wars allowed them to tactfully use the layout of the settlement to their advantage, securing a decisive and crucial early victory for the Republic. The battered Carthaginian army attempted to withdraw to their capital Carthagast, but were caught out at sea by classes 1 Neptunia and annihilated. Through some crafty diplomacy, we even managed to secure a defensive alliance with the Numidian Mazaisli, who after centuries of Punic oppression were all too eager to join the war on our side against their former overlords. I would say that this is a very promising start to the war, and if it is war the Carthaginians want, it is war they shall get. And this time around, I will not fail in achieving my ultimate objective of annihilating Carthage in their very homeland of Africa, thereby eliminating the Punic threat once and for all. Just as I was about to set march with Legio I Italica from Mediolanum down towards Sicily, I received a message from the Roman Senate. I was to relinquish command of the Roman armies. What's worse is that an 18-year-old kid would be my replacement as commander of the prestigious Legio I Italica? All I know is that he is some unseasoned general from the gens Cornelii. This is the second time the Senate has betrayed me, the very person they should instead thank their stars for. Now I really don't care for glory nor even appreciation, but defeating Carthage this time around won't be as easy as it was in the First Punic War. For even in defeat, they have managed to once again rise above our own republic. Keeping that in mind, I do not wish for our republic to suffer a humiliating defeat and return the favor of complacency that Carthage bestowed upon us in the First Punic War. Unfortunately, by the looks of it, defeat is exactly what we are faced with, because this inexperienced little pup has instead chosen to abandon Italia and Sicily altogether and march daringly towards Hispania, far away from any Roman base of operations or reinforcements. Given the foolishness of his decisions, we can only hope that our republic can still put up a fight against Carthage after Legio I Italica faces its certain doom. What is up, my friends? How's it going? And welcome back to the 5th episode of our Let's Play series as Roma with your fellow comrade Summary. We do have a conflict of orders, and let us do what Crassus did and set up firemen. Meanwhile, a peace has been negotiated between Carthage and the Mazaisli. It's not amazing, but at least the Mazaisli won't be wiped out. Meanwhile, several of our characters have leveled up, so let's go ahead, and we do have a spy all the way down here in Hispania, and we're going to go ahead and level him up. Get that extra chance to kill, as well as some further cunning. Meanwhile, Legio II Fretensis, the hero of the previous episode, by fending off a huge Carthaginian invasion, has also leveled up. And what we can do is get that extra upkeep cost reduction. Our economy is not looking so good. I mean, Latium is making a decent amount of income per turn. However, we do have a lot of armies. We have almost 3 full stacks, as you can see over here. We also have a Legio I Hispana. The name has been changed from Legio I Augusta to Legio I Hispana in preparation for the invasion of Hispania. However, Legio 2 Fretensis, we can go ahead and keep increasing the ability of this character. And what we really need to do is now we could get this one that gives extra movement speed, and I am inclined towards doing so. However, I think the melee defense is quite important, especially as a garrisoned army. Meanwhile, up here in the north, you can see a Carthaginian full stack is making its way towards Genoa or Aleria. Let's quickly have a look at our realm before we do anything else. And as you can see, we have renamed settlements to Roman names. We have Mediolanum, formerly known as Medland. Meanwhile, Taris, I was contemplating renaming it as Tarentum, which is the Roman name. However, Tarentum should be on this side of the coast, which is the west side of this kind of peninsula protrusion, not on the east side. And on the east side, Brundisium is the more appropriate name of the settlement, so we have gone ahead and renamed that. Meanwhile, we have named Panormos to Panormus, which is the Latinized version of the exact same name. And Acrogas is now Agrigentum. Aralis is no longer spelled with the Greek K but the Latin C, and Alalia is now Aleria. So yeah, we are going to keep changing this with mods. And speaking of modding, I have modded the Carthaginians to own the entirety of Iberia, except of course the western, the western coast of Iberia. And alright, everything seems to be fine. We are going to finally have a look at the general that you have seen in the introduction, and it is none other than Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, and he is of course just age of 18, and I have a kind of let's go ahead and look at him in the political screen. He is 20 right now. It took him about 2 years to march all the way from Italia towards Hispania, and of course this is the historical move that Scipio pulled off. Meanwhile, the champion in his army has leveled up, so let's go ahead and get some of those skills for the champion. I typically tend to get the same skills for all of my agents, and Scipio Africanus is actually in a position to attack Tarraco, so let's go ahead and besiege the settlement. And the auto resolve looks quite good. It's at 88%, and I could just auto resolve it over here, and I'm going to go ahead and auto resolve this one. And so just like that, Scipio has conquered his very first settlement. We are going to go ahead and loot the settlement to get some extra denarii. Meanwhile, quickly turn off the taxes over here. Repair. We are going to dismantle this building. Go ahead, repair this building. Our food is looking a bit low. Corsica is Sardinia. Alright. Okay, so what we need to do is we can dismantle all the buildings we don't need. A quick look at actually the auxiliary buildings. It can be quite critical towards us because we can get access to some of the Iberian cavalry, which is Romanized. They're quite good. This is a completely melee cavalry and a pretty respectable melee weapon damage over here. As you can see, 35. For those of you who have seen my live stream, you'll know that I rate anything about 30 as a good weapon damage. There are hardly any weapons in the game that can go above 30. However, we don't need that over here. What is Tarraco is actually going to be a settlement, or actually a settlement that does not generate income. However, we might have to, start taxing all of our provinces because we have to support the upkeep cost for 3 legions, and it's already at 21,956 denarii per turn, so that is quite expensive. It's almost as equal to having 6 legions, which kind of makes sense because we have 341 stack legions almost by the looks of it. Meanwhile, a quick look at our politics. As you can see, politically we are doing quite fine for now. Some of our characters and this character over here can be leveled up to give a little bit of extra tax per turn. Meanwhile, circling this character, so let's go ahead, just keep leveling up some of those characters. This guy as well, just to improve. I mean, it is going to cost us incrementally more, and I do not recommend upgrading all of our characters in one turn. However, the Gens Julia, as far as our influence in the Senate is concerned, we are at the cusp of going into overly influential, which will start to see some debuffs, so we want to stay respected in the Senate as much as possible. And one final thing we can do is actually send the character over here in the Gens Papira, which has the lowest loyalty, to improve the public order in Tarraconensis. And that should actually give us a little bit of extra public order. Meanwhile, we can't just let this Carthaginian army roam freely up north in the sea over there. So we are going to have to move our fleet somewhere towards there. And we're going to dissuade him from traveling all the way up north by moving our fleet as quickly as possible towards the north. Hopefully he turns back south. What we are going to do is perhaps recruit just a couple of these ships as well. 3 more, that should be good. Then we can take out that army at sea. Meanwhile, I don't think there's much else to do in this turn. We can have a quick look at politics since we are now in Iberia. And can we get some trade agreements? And getting trade agreements will be quite important, because we don't want to get backstabbed by any of the factions that are over here in this region. So we are going to go ahead, get the trade with the Vivishi, and of course they will trade with us, which kind of exposes a lot of what's going on over here down in the south. Meanwhile, the Aravaci are looking quite good. The Lusitani are holding on to dear life. The Lusitani are further away from us, so I don't really want to, you know, establish a trade agreement with them. What I do want is a trade agreement with the Aravaci. Keep them fairly neutral towards me, because they do bother me. Meanwhile, the Galaci, on the other hand, will kind of ally, get a trade agreement with me with a good amount of money. Respectable. And will they join the war against Carthage? I mean, the more people I can get to join the war against Carthage, the better. And no, they won't, because Carthage is an absolute beast. So let's just be happy with the financial settlement that we will get. Wonderful. We could trade with the Lusitani. They might not want to trade with us right now, and they do. Well, if we ask them to join the war against Carthage, well, they will trade with us, so let's actually ask for some payment. And it seems like 3,000 is the maximum they will pay us for it. That's not too bad. The Aravaci might hate us a little bit. The Turdetani, on the other hand, non-aggression. Nope, they will not accept it. What I really want is a non-aggression with the Aravaci. I don't want them to attack me, no matter what. Quick look over here. The Ruteni are in control of the settlement, which means the Editani have been completely wiped out. Of course, the Editani is the reason we are at war with Carthage. Carthage having conquered the settlement of Ars, or Saguntum. We are now in the Second Punic War, as you guys can see. However, that being said and done, we do have a little bit of money left over for this turn, which means we could dedicate it to completing the building of Legio 1 Hispanica. And what we are actually lacking over here is, of course, the Equites Extraordinary, as well as our Pedites Extraordinary. So we have 3 more over there, which should get us to 37 plus 4, that's 41. So let's actually go ahead and get all those troops. Equites Extraordinary, 327. That's a pretty expensive. Let's start with the Pedites. Get 3 of them. And yep, that's perfect. We are completely out of money for now. And what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and end the turn. Quick look at our taxation. Yeah, we really need to start taxing all of our provinces. Perhaps build some more food buildings so that we can upgrade our settlements as well. Meanwhile, down here in the south, okay, things are looking quite good. We need to upgrade the food or the fishing ports over here. Definitely, we need to do that. However, that will have to wait until the future turns. Anyways, with that being said and done, I'm going to go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when we are ready to push our offensive into Hispania. Alright, welcome back to the next turn. I thought I would forward into the future. Some of our characters have leveled up, so let's go ahead, get some of those skills. Of course, we want the extra research rate, and there's nothing much else we can do. Recruitment cost, not that great. Evading enemy is quite good. And what do we have here? Okay, all of three of these help them evade enemies. Taxation is not important in this province. Loyalty while deployed, which is also not that important, so we can go ahead, just get a couple of these to improve our chance of evading the enemy agents. Meanwhile, we also have a dignitary over here, and he has also leveled up. We can go ahead, get that extra cultural conversion, focus on that research rate as well as the empire maintenance. Meanwhile, the champion at Legio 2 Fretensis has also leveled up, so can get that army upkeep cost reduction. It's quite powerful. And of course, all of the other abilities. We are making about 2,900 denarii per turn. Legio 1 Hispana is meanwhile completely almost built up. We can get a couple more of the Socii Equites, or the Equites Extraordinary. And with that, we can just quickly hide this dignitary over here. We're in the process of converting Mediolanum. And food-wise, we're not looking too good. We definitely want to change that situation, which reminds me, go ahead and build up this port into the level 3 port, and by doing so we actually double the food production over here, as the level 2 just gives 5 food, the level 3 gives 10 food, so that's quite powerful. A quick look at our technology. Yes, we are in the process of researching the advanced construction techniques, and the idea is to actually further improve the main settlement chains of the province of Latium to help us get more income. Meanwhile, in about 4 turns, Latium should be making almost double the revenue. So we're looking at 21,000 turning into 41,000 denarii per turn, or close to that amount. However, meanwhile, what's the plan in Tarraco is we are going to just sit over here and do pretty much nothing. We're not going to stop that conversion because we need to actually prioritize building up the empty slots before it turns into a slum, and that won't be ideal. Meanwhile, we can just repair that building. I don't mind. And dismantling the settlement, or the main chain settlement, actually replenishes your garrison, so I always recommend doing it. Of course, your more elite garrison, like the Italian swordsmen, still at 31. However, the Italian town guard, Italian citizens, and the Italian slingers are maximum, as you can see. The idea with Legio 1 Italica and Scipio in general is that he will wait until he is completely replenished in Tarraco, and then we will push the offensive and conquer the rest of Hispania from the Carthaginians, hopefully concluding the Second Punic War with that in this episode. But by the looks of it, I don't think I will be able to achieve so much in just a single episode. However, the main reason why I stopped the episode into this turn is because this Carthaginian army is ever so close towards hitting Arretium. In fact, they can hit Arretium in the next turn. Fortunately for us, Classes 1 Neptunia is in range, and we are going to go ahead, attack them, and I do want to show this battle. So I'm going to quick save over here, and I will hop into the battle. Unfortunately, the Carthaginians have 6 elephant units that are going to be sunk at sea, so this is a really big win for us. Alright, welcome to the battle. Let us start our deployment. A lot of you have asked me, how do I go ahead and do my naval battles? We are significantly outnumbered over here. What I typically like to do is I like to create lines of naval vessels, like I am doing right here. Of course, put my general all the way in the back. The transport or the supply ship is completely useless. Select all of them, toggle on that melee mode. You can either click on the button down here in the bottom left corner, or you can hit the shortkey F, and I typically hit the shortkey F, and now that converts us into ramming mode. And click start the battle. We move our ships forward, hold down the space key, and assign targets for each of our ships. And let's go ahead, select some targets. And the real danger over here is that we could find ourselves being swamped or boarded, because they do have a lot of transport ships, so we're gonna have to be extremely careful with how we maneuver. So although this is a battle that's significantly in our favor, because transport ships are quite weak against naval vessels that can ram, it's not going to be all that easy. We still have to be careful as to how we engage the enemy. And as any Roman would, I like to attack the enemy head on. And there are some other strategies on how you can go about defeating an enemy fleet. However, for the most part, I would recommend... it seems like the enemy fleet isn't actually moving with 41 stacks, so this could end up actually being a turkey shoot. And now we are almost in range. Just gonna wait a little bit. And now they begin to move. Okay. Gonna hit that row hard so that they manage to sink out all enemy ships. Quickly reassign the ships. Okay, you're gonna hit this one, hit this one. Meanwhile, no, you're gonna go all the way over here. You can go all the way there. Okay. And we need our reserve ship over here. Wonderful. You're gonna hit this ship if you can. Come on, turn around. Wonderful. Just made it in time. And you can hit over there. Perfect. One of our ships is being boarded. However, I'm not too concerned. If I hold down the space key, you can see we do have a ship that's intercepting over there, which is quite good. Okay, let's go ahead. Keep charging over here on the right flank. Quite a lot of things to see right now. Okay, wonderful. Go ahead, toggle that double time. Reserve ship can come here. This ship didn't exactly sink on the first go, so we're gonna select and hit it again. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be hitting. Meanwhile, we can just move all of these ships out over there. Have a quick look of what's going on over here on this side of things. And for sure, we have one more ship in reserve. Come on, go ahead, hit that unit, break him. Perfect. Alright. Over here, this ship is also nearly done. Go ahead. We're just gonna ignore double time over here. Ignore that ship. Get around him. Turn our ship around. Have a quick look at what's going on over here. Okay, wonderful. I don't want to lose a single ship in this battle. Let's go ahead. We can actually hit this ship with the same ship. Okay, wonderful. And now we can go ahead, hit over here. General can move in, take out that ship. It's no longer a threat to us. This ship hasn't sunk, so use our fireport ship to kind of deal with that. Okay, now this is the danger over here on the right hand side of the battle. And General can go ahead, hit here. Go ahead, hit that. Okay, this ship is done. We're gonna continue the battle, make sure we kill as much of the army as we possibly can. And you can come here, double time over there so that you can escape. We're gonna fast forward over here as well. Make sure these ships are completely done. It's only that ship that remains. Gonna chase it with our fastest ship as well. And with that, we have won quite an easy battle. Alright, down goes the Carthaginian army. We have done quite well. We haven't lost a single ship, and a heroic victory with quite a lot of slaves. Always a good thing. What we can do now is actually move our fleets down south. We have a couple of armies down here in the south, nothing too deadly. We are going to move our fleet further down to the south and kind of recruit a couple more ships if we can. It should be kind of helpful. Or we could actually create another fleet which would be very helpful against the Carthaginian holding in Iberia. And in order to do that, I'm going to quickly check if I can get some... We have quite a few Julii characters. Let's have a quick look at what we can get over here. In terms of politics, this guy has a bad trait, so I don't actually mind making him into an admiral, and if he dies at sea, I don't really care. So he is Agrippa, so let's go ahead and get ourselves Agrippa. And where is Agrippa? Here we go. We are going to see if we can reinstate our navy in classes 2 Italica. Pretty good. Okay. Wonderful. And we are going to go ahead. We have quite a decent amount of proletari. Just go ahead, get a couple of these ships. Wonderful. And with that, it seems like there's nothing much else to do in this turn. Quick look at our politics. Everything seems to be fine. Meanwhile, of course, we can marry off Scipio. Quite young fellow. Let's go ahead and get him married. A quick look at our... Yes, we want to keep improving the public order in Macedonia as well. We have a little bit of extra money just laying around, and we are going to go ahead and invest in that fishmonger so that we get even more food. Meanwhile, we are going to dock our fleet at Caralis. With that being said and done, I think we are done for this turn, so I'm going to go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when I am ready to continue the offensive against the Carthaginians. Alright, welcome to the future. We have a riot at the capital. Usually the best thing to do is to crush the riot. Meanwhile, a son has come of age, and we do have a bunch of grumbling patricians as well as plebs. We can level up our dignitary over here, and we are definitely going to go for that food. I have kind of made a mistake over here with this character, but what I would have liked to do is to kind of get all of these things, but it doesn't really matter for now. What we can do is focus on that food and growth rate, which is quite important. We can get the extra empire maintenance as well. And meanwhile, with Latium, we are almost done building up all of our level 3 resource buildings. Meanwhile, we are also upgrading our main settlement buildings. And as you can see, Latium is almost at that 40,000 denarii that I said it would achieve. Just 2 of these upgraded completely. It has bounced from 21,000 denarii to 31,000. So with this one complete as well, I believe it should be somewhere around the 35 mark at the very least, which means we are making about 6,281 denarii per turn, but that is including the fact that we have our second fleet in position over here, classes 2 Italica at Panormos. We are out of plebes or second class population over there, so we're gonna switch our fleets around so that classes 2 Italica can continue to recruit some more ships. We go ahead, give them 3 ships. Meanwhile, over here, the objective is to conquer Syracuse from the Syracuseans. And for that purpose, I have marched Legio 1 Hispanica, or Hispana, which I am actually going to rename into Augusta, since it doesn't really make sense. It's not really going to be in Hispana. Meanwhile, Legio 2 Fretensis is also ready to help them gain that auto-resolve. And we can auto-resolve it because we are having Latin as the dominant culture over here in Sicily. Meanwhile, in Carthage, Carthage seems to keep recruiting up stack after stack of armies. Classes 1 Neptunia has won quite a few battles, and the commander over here is doing quite well for himself. He might, if he continues down this path, actually gain the trait of getting a triumph. And what I am actually going to do in order to help a little bit out over here, I don't have enough money. I could put my faction leader in charge of the fleet temporarily. However, what I am going to rename this fleet is into classes 1, victorious for being victorious over the Carthaginians. We have wiped out heroic victory over here, and of course in the turn between turns we had another heroic victory over here. We took out a massive Carthaginian fleet as well. I feel I should have recorded that. However, I do want to keep the episodes as short as possible while showing a lot of our conquests. Meanwhile, all the way over here in Iberia, Scipio has completely replenished. The settlement of Tarraco is also looking quite good. I mean, of course we haven't gotten it where we want to be, and abandoning it could prove to be disastrous. But what we can do for now is that we can put Legio 1 Augusta, and we could declare war directly. However, why do that when you can ask them Auxilia to join the war against them, and they might actually join the war against the Carthaginian overlords? Nope. Okay, so we can ask them to join the war, and we can ask for a bit of payment as well. They're going to reject that. Alright, so let's go ahead. Just ask for 1,000 instead. Wonderful. And now we are at war with the Syracusans. Go ahead, attack. Of course, the auto-resolve doesn't look that good, so what we are going to do is we are going to march slightly closer to the settlement, see if we get a much more favorable auto-resolve, and 87%, I am comfortable with that. Quickly go ahead, peacefully occupy the settlement, and we have reached our next Imperium level with that. What we are going to do is going to move our army back into Agrigentum, Legio 2 Fretensis. Meanwhile, over here, we can actually dismantle this building to get a bit more of that, of the garrison. Meanwhile, dismantle all of these. I mean, we could get this. That's not really all that helpful. We could instead dismantle it, because this is going to be a food province. Get the library over there. Upgrade some of these settlements with the focus on Agrigentum. And in the next turn, we can upgrade even Panormos. And with that, I think we are quite good. We own the entire province of Sicily, which means in the next episode, we will be renaming Syracuse as well as the province, since we have finally a foreign province. Yep. Meanwhile, quick look at all of the other things. All of our provinces seem to be fine for now. Legio 1 Augusta is also, our general has leveled up, so let's go ahead, give him some more army upkeep reduction. Can also improve his replenishment rate. Want to maximize on that replenishment rate. Go ahead, get some army traditions, and I think when it comes to army traditions, we want to imitate what's going on over here. So with that, what I actually want to do is get some things that will improve my melee attack, defense, of course. And for now, we are looking quite good in terms of our economy, so I can actually switch off the taxation in Magna Graecia, but that will give me some food issues, so switch it off rather in Corsica and Sardinia. We are now having 23 food, which is quite good, which means our growth rate will improve in the next turn due to the fact that we have a food surplus, which is quite good. And I am happy with 7,781 denarii per turn, considering the amount of forces that we are maintaining for now. Quick look at our politics. Everything seems to be fine, with the exception, of course, of this character over here. It's at minus 17, and that is because of the Imperium level right now. Nothing much we can do as far as that Imperium level is concerned, but what we can do, we could just secure the loyalty of this party, keep them quite loyal. Gens Papira is going to be an issue, so let's have a look at our political party affiliation. Gens Papira owns our food province, so can't really provoke them into a civil war, and now is not the ideal time for a civil war as well. So we are just going to move our dignitary since we can move him, and in the next turn we can probably deploy him. However, I don't think he's necessary over here anymore, so what we are going to do is we're going to move him up towards Cisalpina, help with the cultural conversion over there. Meanwhile, move this dignitary towards Hispania to help with the cultural conversion over there. Speaking of cultural conversion, I do believe we should have extra characters that we can recruit. And of course, getting the champion is going to be the play. And I am actually going to recruit him all the way over here. Because eventually I'm going to march Legio 1 Augusta out of Sicily. And with that, it seems like I am done for this turn. Politics-wise, we're looking quite good. Let's look at... We still have a chance for a civil war, and that is because, of course, the Gens Junior doesn't look too happy with us. However, just a quick look, I don't need to convert this building as of yet. Can also improve the situation with the Gens Junior. Send this character to improve the public order if we can. We are going to go ahead and improve it in, I believe it was Sicilia itself, or Corsica, Sardinia, I don't remember, but it was in a province that needed it. I believe Macedonia, yes. So Macedonia is improving their public order, which is quite good. Meanwhile, as far as technology is concerned, we are researching into the philosophy tree. And after that, we need to prioritize on getting legal institutions, which will give us +6 loyalty for all political parties. And quite frankly, I think this is what we should be going for. However, I'm just going to complete researching astronomy, and then I will go ahead and pursue legal institutions as our next technology. Alright, with that, just a quick look at politics once again. We can go to our summary. We are way below our army limit, and that is because, of course, our economy is reeling under the pressure of our many fleets. And we have actually 2 decently sized fleets, and we have 3 full stack armies. We do have access to yet another edict. So what we can actually do as far as edicts is concerned is we no longer have the tax rate. And we can turn off the taxation over here. However, I'm going to keep it on for just a little bit. Meanwhile, over here, we can increase the public order as well as the growth rate. That is quite important. And with that, I think I am done with this turn, and I'm going to see you all into the future. But I think just another thing we can do for this turn. I really quickly want to see our population over here. It is growing quite reasonably. So I am happy with pushing Scipio Africanus towards Ars, soon to be Sagentum. An amazing auto-resolve at 96%. So let's just go ahead and do that auto-resolve. We are going to go ahead and loot the settlement once again. Turn off the taxation over here. Should give us just a little bit of income. Dismantle the buildings, of course. What we need to do is we definitely need to build up over here. Perfect, I'm happy with that. Well, just look at a couple of buildings that we refused to upgrade over here because we didn't have the money to do so, since we were playing with the politics. And we can build a sanitation building over there. Meanwhile, over here, what we want to do is we eventually want to make this into a military province. However, for now, I'm actually inclined towards at least making it into an agricultural province. Not so much because we need food, but more so because we kind of need to improve our economy a little bit. So temporarily creating this as an agricultural province would kind of help, and would also help with the public order situation over here. So let's go ahead and actually spec it up as an agricultural province. And speaking of an agricultural province, let's hop right into it. Go ahead, convert this into a food settlement. Can't really repair any of that, so what we can do, however, is stop the conversion over here. Go ahead, see if we can. Nope, we can't. So can convert over here. Meanwhile, quick look at politics once again. -5, -9. We have a 0 chance of a civil war, so everything is looking quite good. With that, I can go ahead, end the turn. See you guys all in the future. And our next target is most likely going to be... most likely going to be Ibosim or Mastia. One of these two. Maybe we could even take out Iplakea. I mean, if we can, we have about like 10 to 20 minutes left in this episode. If we can secure about 3 of these settlements, perhaps even 4, then we have achieved quite a lot in this Punic War. However, I don't think that will be the case, as I do want to fight a battle. I haven't fought a land battle as of yet, and we will have to do that in this episode. So most likely we might just be able to conquer 1 settlement. And if we are, then that settlement is for sure, without a shred of doubt, going to be Mastia. Alright, welcome to the end turn, and actually a Carthaginian army led by Hamilcar the Chauffet has decided to attack us. In fact, 3 Carthaginian armies, so it is 7,000 approximately versus 8,000 or 9,000 rather. Quite an even battle, and I guess with that I'm just going to quick save over here, hop into the battle, and see you all in the battle. Alright, welcome to the battle, a massive battle. We have gone ahead and deployed our Triple S Axis formation with our Latin troops forming the core, and of course the Socii variants on the flanks, such as the Hastati Samniti, the Principe Samnitici, and of course the Perites Extraordinary. On our left flank we have our Socii Equites Extraordinary. On the right flank we have our Tarentine, or actually Equites Campagnae. These are really good cavalry and I am enjoying using them. Meanwhile, in the back we have Scipio Africanus himself, of course, and he is leading the legion, and we have put our Cretan archers all the way in the back, as well as our Velites all the way in the back. We have turned off the fire at will for the Velites, and that is because we want to save our ammunition for the Carthaginian elephants. However, without further ado, let us go ahead and start with our formation. We are quickly going to march up ahead, have a quick look at the Carthaginian army. We do have a medium elephant on that side, and on the other side we have yet another medium elephant unit. And of course they are getting reinforcements. This is the crucial battle over here, and if we are not able to defeat the Carthaginian army over here, then I fear it might be all done and dusted for us with Hispania. So let's quickly go ahead and deploy several of our units up ahead. Gonna go into that really thin formation. Meanwhile, our Cretan archers can kind of form up over here. We move our cavalry, take our Samnitici, put them up over there. Wonderful. And quickly go ahead. Those units do get charged. Meanwhile, move our Velites up close. We need to move them up close. We can charge our Equites over here on the left flank into that unit. Meanwhile, our companion cavalry not looking so good. Our Velites are in position, so that's great. Go ahead, fire at that unit. Cretan archers can fire as well. And we gotta be extremely careful over here. Quick look at what's going on. Elephants have charged. Our Velites over here can throw their javelins onto the elephant units. We are gonna pull out our cavalry from that engagement. Alright. And this is gonna be quite the battle, quite a tough battle to be honest. And we are gonna once again charge. As you can see, insane amount of cavalry. Hopefully our Velites are able to deal with those elephant units. Throwing their javelins, desperately need to claw at these elephants. On the left flank our general will be needed, Scipio Africanus himself. He's going to have to, and it seems like, of course, the left flank is taking a bit of a beating from all those cavalry charges. have done over here. Scipio Africanus, go ahead, charge over there. Meanwhile, over here, these couple of cavalries are doing quite well. We have dealt with those elephant units, so we can use our velites to hit. Our archers can hit that Numidian cavalry. Another elephant unit is done over here, so these velites go ahead, hit this elephant unit in the center. Make sure they're completely done and dusted. Archers can also hit that elephant unit. Scipio Africanus, go ahead, inspire everyone, pull out of there. Alright, let's have a quick look at the right flank. Everything seems to be going quite well. Our velites over here, we want to select both of them. And of course we want to select both of our archers. Make sure that they can hit this Numidian cav. And we are going to give chase to these units. We are going to give chase to them. Not going to let them get away. We can afford to do so. Meanwhile, the elephants over here have run amok, which is great. Quick look at our unit cards. Our Samnitiki, our flanks are taking the bulk of the damage. Meanwhile, this phalanx unit has managed to move across, so let's go ahead and charge it in the rear. Okay, wonderful. And we can move our velites or our... I believe these are Cretan archers, so we can move them. It is safe to do so. Wonderful. Our companion cavalry have taken quite a beating over here on the right flank. However, the right flank is looking quite good. So let's get our troops in and around and get ready to hit those units. Meanwhile, our left flank is also looking quite decent. So we can kind of make these guys a little bit narrower. Quick look at our general. Need to move our cavalry out of that engagement. All we really need to do is get rid of the enemy units. Over here, get our Cretan archers to fire into the backs of these units. Meanwhile, we can go ahead and charge over here. It's going to be a little bit tough, this battle. Go ahead, charge into the rear of that unit. Our Pedites can also charge into some of the cavalry units, pretty much. Scipio Africanus is doing a good job over here on that left flank. Meanwhile, the Cretan archers are in position to start firing into the backs of some of these units. Wonderful. Go ahead, shoot the back of that hoplite unit. And we are going to use our companion cavalry over here to hit different units as much as we can. And now our main line is actually taking a bunch of damage. So we're gonna have to move forward entirely with our Triarii line. And the way to do that is to actually select all of them. And of course, this is the final stand. We're gonna drag them out like that. Put them out over there. Hopefully, the left flank is not looking too good with the Carthaginian cavalry, of course, in quick pursuit. Try to get the velites to also engage the cavalry. Meanwhile, over here, our companion cavalry doing quite well. Get our Pedites on the left flank to support our cavalry. We definitely need that. You can charge over here. Get this cavalry. If we can somehow break the enemy cavalry, then it is game over, as they don't really have a lot of units. Meanwhile, the right flank is looking good. We can continue to flank the enemy. Gonna issue a couple of orders like that.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Meanwhile, our entire front line of Hastati, I think we should just commit our Triarii into the fight. This is a massive battle, and definitely want to pull our Hastati, except this Hastati. Everyone behind, come get some well-deserved rest. Army number 4, you're doing fine. 1, 3. What are we looking at here? Looking at decisive win because of Scutari.
battle.
and
This is a shameful.
inspire everyone so that they stay into the fight. Okay, meanwhile, our melee troops have kind of gotten around, so we are going to try to quickly move them across. Group 4, come on. Alright. Group 3, move out. You're going to chase over there, Group 4. Keep moving. Okay. Hastati are all in retreat. Can pull these couple of Hastati behind. We don't need them there anymore. Not a very good attack with those archers over there. Meanwhile, our general can also inspire this flank. And definitely dealing with those Skutari is going to be the key. Right. Meanwhile, this center over here is what's really the problem. General doing quite good against the Skutari. However, will not be able to hold out for much longer over there. Get our missile troops around. Hastati can also begin to flank. Okay, we have a companion cavalry over here. If we can kill Hamilcar, that should pretty much be the battle in our favor. Meanwhile, slowly but steadily the Carthaginian right flank is crumbling. It is absolutely a mess over here. Charge once again into those Skutari units. Hopefully that should win the day for us. Over there. Okay, wonderful. Go ahead, charge over here. Get our other cavalry unit to... Need to see where Hamilcar is exactly, and he is over here. General has done quite well. Move him out. Go ahead. Equites Compagnie, do one charge towards Hamilcar. You are more plentiful, so definitely you have a kind of an advantage. Meanwhile, our Hastati can continue. They keep losing a lot on the right flank, however, the left flank is where the real trouble is. And we are nearly done surrounding them over here. Meanwhile, our general is doing quite well. Get our Soki cavalry into the attack. Move our general over here. We're gonna hit that archer unit. Go ahead. Surround the enemy unit. Attack them on all sides. We're gonna have to throw each and every single one of our units into the battle.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
And wow, it's still even over there, which is quite sad. I don't want to lose the Equites Companion. That is going to be quite disastrous if that does happen. Go ahead and circle the enemy. The right flank is actually looking quite good, so I'm happy with that. Meanwhile, go over here, start hitting this. And it is Equites, so just move them out. Definitely don't want them to withdraw.
Our men flee the field of
Okay.
battle. This is a shameful display.
Push all of our troops into that center. Come on, keep hitting it over there. Wonderful. Get these troops over here as well. You can hit over there. Try to get... Okay. Wonderful. Our general can come back into the fold over here. This is a pretty massive battle, and we're not doing too bad. We have taken quite a bit of losses, and hopefully we haven't lost any unit as such. I mean, I am fine with high casualties, but of course, taking a lot of damage is not entirely desirable. Quick look, our companion cavalry is in full flight, and we can see if we can get another charge off over here. And if we can kill Hamilcar, that will be quite helpful. This cavalry is really good. Carthaginian cavalry, I'm not gonna lie. The left flank is kind of broken, which is kind of what we needed. I didn't expect that really. I expected the breakthrough from the right flank.
This is a shameful display.
Meanwhile, the left flank once again, we are going to reform over here. Try to hit up. Okay, Hamilcar is on the retreat. That's wonderful. And if he can retreat, we can chase him. And if we can chase him, then we can put an end to his shenanigans. Go ahead. Keep chasing him. Wonderful. He should be out of it now. And with that, we have dealt the enemy a severe blow to their morale. So let's go ahead, start hitting some of these other units. Meanwhile, these units can go ahead, charge over here on that left flank. You can meanwhile hit this unit in the flank. Right. Keep charging. Okay, things are looking good over here. Gonna move our Principes out and over there. Try to get them around the enemy unit if we can. Well, our general has done well to rout out those units. Okay, by the looks of it, it seems like we will soon win this battle, because there's nothing much they can do. And if we actually get rid of this general as well, then it's pretty much game over for the Carthaginians, and there's nothing much they can do. Meanwhile, wow, this has been quite a massive battle. And meanwhile, what we are going to do is we are going to try to hit these heavy phalanx units in the rear.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we are going to end the battle. There's no point chasing so many units, and I will see you all in the campaign. And with that, down goes some of the Carthaginian armies. We have a close victory, that's what it says. However, we lost only 2,310 units, whereas we killed 7,546. So that is a kill to death ratio of 1:3. So that I'm pretty happy with that. We are going to go ahead and enslave all these captives, of course. And with that, I will see you in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the next turn. We are going to pick the subjugation. Julius Libo has returned home. However, we are going to put him in charge of Legio 1 Augusta. Let's go ahead, get Lucius Libo in charge over there and move him towards Cosentia. Perfect. Alright, with that, we are making quite a lot of money now in Latium, 34,000. And of course, we're just 4 turns away from absolutely increasing our economy in Latium. However, meanwhile, what has happened in Hispania is that this army over here has kind of backstabbed us and taken the settlement of Saguntum. We are going to go ahead, attack him. And hopefully we shouldn't lose any troops. I am a bit scared. Have a look at the auto resolve. And I'm gonna quick save it over here. Hopefully we don't lose any troops. Put it on that defensive. And it doesn't seem like we lost anything. But we have instead dealt with the Carthaginian fleet, so that is good. Let's go ahead and we can loot the settlement once again. Wonderful. Haven't lost a single unit over here, which is pretty good, I guess. Meanwhile, over here we are still looking quite fancy. We are going to get that extra... This has changed. It's giving an increased attack for levy units, unfortunately, with the public beta that has changed. So that is not exactly a very good trait that I would like to have. However, I am going to go ahead and spec the other things. And move my fleet over here into Tarraco, of course. And get our general leveled up over there as well. Wonderful. See if we can get any trait that will reduce the upkeep cost of our fleets. It doesn't seem likely. However, we can get something. Would perhaps... Okay, I do like the extra replenishment rate. Meanwhile, for Scipio himself, what we can do is we can raise an extra army over here. So go ahead, put this up over there, repair that. We want to repair you as well as repair you. Okay. We don't have that garrison anymore, and over here we have just 3 remaining armies. They're just a shadow of their former self. So it seems like that battle we had just outside the settlement of Saguntum was the crucial battle in Iberia, which means in the next episode we should be able to push into Iberia. Meanwhile, what I could do to help this army replenish is, because I don't really have you know, any population class over here, what I could do is I could just recruit another general. And we are going to go ahead with this character over here. Reinstate the legacy. Get Legio 6 allowed a no. Oh yes, we can reinstate this, because this is not a legion that I would want. And we are going to rename him Legio. Let's see over here. We're going to rename him Legio 4 Hispania. Wonderful. And now what we are going to do is we are going to transfer all our first class or all our Latin troops into this army, because it's not going to replenish. Make sure that every single Latin troop has been transferred. And Equites Extraordinary, don't need those guys. And the Campania for sure. Velites also. Okay, wonderful. And with that, we should pretty much have just kind of like a Tokiai over here, which means this army should be able to replenish in the next turn. And what we are going to do is we are going to march this army back up north into Tarraco. And in order to do that, what we are actually going to do is we're going to deploy the fleet over here, since we don't want to consume the population of Tarraco. Since we have a lot of denarii, let's go ahead and spend some of it. By the looks of it, it looks like we can upgrade Syracuse. Meanwhile, Latium is looking great. Can also upgrade over here. What I definitely want to get is to improve the library over there. And we can also improve the garrison. Okay, pretty happy with that, and we can go ahead and end the turn. I'll see you all in the next turn, where I can move my armies back to get some replenishment, and of course then I am going to go ahead and end the episode. Alright, welcome to the next turn. Further sons are coming of age, where our family tree is growing quite significantly, and we definitely want to deal with that. And alright, these are all our sons, so I don't mind them. However, what we are going to do is try to eliminate our adopted tree eventually. And as you can see over here, he hasn't yet replenished, but this fleet kind of has. And now we can move all of our main guys back into that settlement of Tarraco for that replenishment rate. And we can also repair for the garrison of ours to replenish. Meanwhile, over here, what are we looking at? We're looking at a general, which we could typically or technically attack. That would be a wise move. However, we don't have much time for the episode, and we are just going to stay put over here. Have a quick look at the remainder of our provinces. Don't really need to upgrade much. What we can do is upgrade Mediolanum. Alright. Meanwhile, this is looking quite good. So let's go back. Actually, we don't need to upgrade Mediolanum just yet. What we are going to do is we are going to upgrade province of Hispania. Wonderful. That way we are making a fair bit of money in Hispania itself. Aragoneses, Magna Graecia, we could potentially turn off the taxation over there. However, as you can see, we don't really need a lot of taxation, but we are going to need some in the near future if we need to build a fourth complete stack of a legionary. Economically speaking, our economy will grow exponentially with time. And of course, you know, the objective of this series is to expand historically. So once we take out Hispania from the Carthaginians, our next target is going to be Hellas, as well as Illyria, and completing the conquest of Cisalpina. And Hellas is also another S tier province. And Hellas is being currently, and of course Asia has been currently, sorry, not Asia, Greece has been currently contested between the Spartans and the Macedonians. They keep taking Larissa from each other. However, we are going to put an end to that dispute quite soon once we conclude the Second Punic War. Quick look at our politics. Everything seems to be fine. Characters over here, 10, 10, 10. We have a 10, 10, 10 character, which is quite good. Can she assassinate? Can. I don't really need Pontia anymore. Just has a pretty low ambition. And it's just a waste because I don't want to have a lot of gravitas, a lot of influence. Instead, what I am going to do is send some of these characters to improve the public order. And Cisalpina's public order is decreasing for some reason, even though the taxes have been turned off. But we don't have to worry. We are building up another groove of nymphs, which gives us good public order. However, with that, it seems I can end the turn, go to the next turn, just have a look at whether or not this army kind of replenishes, and I hope it does. Because we really need that replenishment rate. And after that, I will go ahead and end the episode. Alright, welcome to the final turn of the campaign. We have rampant piracy. We're gonna go with the hunted. And as you can see, Legia 1 Italica is now completely, almost fully replenished. We do have some of the Patrici that need to be replenished. And of course some plebei units. Don't really have that population, but in a couple of turns we will. And with that being done, we should be having a decent amount of you know, garrison as well in ours, which is kind of great. Meanwhile, our dignitaries have finally made their way towards Hispania. We're going to go ahead and deploy him over here to help with that cultural conversion. We have about 30% 30 influence of Latin, which is more than the Iberian as well as Punic. Not more than both of them combined, however, more than either of them, which means we can still get our majority culture. Meanwhile, our other dignitary is moving from Cisalpina towards Tarraco. Overall, things are looking quite good. Our fleet over here should be also fully replenished, which means the other fleet over here shouldn't be much of an issue. We can also technically just march ahead and take on Mastia. However, that will have to wait until the next episode. I'm gonna go ahead and deploy our spy over here to steal some more food. And as far as Latium is concerned, as you can see, we have completely leveled up all of the buildings we could possibly level up in Latium. And as a result, Latium is making that 43,911 denarii per turn. For most of you who asked me about my economy, this is how I managed to do so. As you can see, Roma, Arretium, Asculum, Aruminum combined, if I mouse over on the bottom left corner at income, they are making a combined total of 13,019 denarii per turn. However, what really makes the difference is the taxation level, the slave modifier, as well as the empire maintenance, and that pretty much multiplies into the provincial wealth and gives us our final income, which is about 4 times the amount. As you can see, we have about 200% increment to our income over here. 300%. Actually, I believe it is 300%. Sorry, my math was a little bit off. Yes, almost 300%. So you're looking at 4 times or triple increment, which basically means 4 times the income in that province, which is great. Lastly but not leastly, politics is looking pretty decent, not too great. And definitely want to improve some of the public order over here. The reason being is our government type is now creating quite a significant impact on our loyalty as well. -8 of the government type. One thing I didn't do is I didn't change my research into legal institutions, and I should actually go ahead and do that. However, I will do that in the turn between turns, or episodes rather. Meanwhile, everywhere else in our realm, things are looking quite stable. And hopefully in the next episode, we should be able to push our offensive into Iberia. Let's just see if we can turn off the taxes over here. Yes, it doesn't make much of a difference. What I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to dismantle this and start building some military buildings just to help with the garrison over here in a coastal province, which makes it a lot harder for Carthaginian fleets to snipe the settlement. And it seems with that, I can go ahead and actually end this episode. It has been quite an eventful episode. We had a pretty big battle, some naval battles, and of course the Battle of Saguntum itself deciding the fate of Iberia. And yeah, with that I would like to end, and so I thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you liked the video, then please like the video and don't forget to subscribe if you are interested for more peace and love.